Hi everyone, Good from Runchat here. In this video, I wanted to explore how we can build a voxelizing tool within Runchat for Rhino. First by generating mesh models, and I'm going to start doing that in the background. Let's just use that as our prompt. And going to make some GLB models, import them into Rhino, and then we're going to try generating a Python script which takes a mesh model. And let's go and make that a 3D model. Writes a Python script that takes this mesh model and turns it into a voxel representation of that model, and lets us play around with those voxels a little bit to create something that's a little bit different and unique and custom. So it's a good example of how these new coding models like Claude Opus 4.5 have gotten really, really good at one-shotting well-described scripting tasks, whilst also showing how you can use these as a design tool. So we've generated our 3D model here. I'm just going to select that and export it back to Rhino. That'll download the mesh file and all of the textures and just load it up into our Rhino viewport here. If we want to see it in rendered view with all of the textures, we can. We just turn on rendered. There's all of the bits. And we now want to voxelize that. So to voxelize it, we are just going to try generating a script. Now, to create scripts in Runchat, we're going to use the agent node, and we're going to choose this Claude Opus 4.5 model to do the job. I'm going to actually just make sure we use the agent node to do this. Choose Claude Opus 4.5, and we'll just make sure that the max tokens are a little bit higher than 1024 because this model might need to write a decent amount of code. Now, prompting for code is pretty simple. Let's just say write a Rhino Python script that takes a mesh model and voxelizes it. And we'll hit go. So the model's going to think for a little while, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, I haven't tried doing this before already. It's going to need to work out how to actually select our mesh model from the viewport. It might just select everything, or it might prompt us to pick a model. It's going to need to decide how to scale the voxels, because typically how voxelization works is you kind of fit a bounding box around an object and then divide that box into smaller boxes and then remove all of the ones which are outside of the object and keep the ones that are inside. Other voxelization algorithms check how far a box is from the surface of the mesh, because that'll work for meshes that aren't watertight, which I would imagine that this one isn't. So there's a lot to think about here, but we're just going to try generating the script for the first time. And then if it doesn't work, we can chat with it and try and iterate. So the way that we run scripts in Rhino that are generated from Runchat is we just select any node that has a Python script in it, and then we can click this run script button. It's going to download our script file and then run it. So you can see here it's asking us to select the mesh to voxelize. I'm just going to pick that one. Now it's asking for a voxel size. Great, and it's even defaulted to something which seems pretty good. Let's just use what it wants to default to. Wow, now it's got voxelization mode, surface only, solid fill, or shell hollow. Interesting. Let's do, I think, surface only. Let's try that. Output type, individual boxes, single mesh, faster. Let's go single mesh. Hide original mesh? Sure. It looked like it did it and then it undid it. Wow, it was very, very close to being perfect. Let's run that again. So we're going to go, or unless it just hit it, do we just go show? There we go. Great. So it's hidden the voxels instead of hiding the mesh itself. So for something which is written from such a simple prompt, there's not a great skill in writing prompts for doing relatively simple tasks like that. For this to work very first time, I think really, really illustrates that everybody that is using Rhino and that is interested in generative design in any way needs to be engaging with these tools, because I think that there's enormous creative potential to unlock here. Give it a try. If you come up with something interesting, share it with us on Discord.